Hello friends, it's Leah from Leah DeLion Art, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about my small business, behind the scenes, and my creative process. So if you like small businesses and art, this is the place for you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe because that helps my channel to grow. Alright friends, let's get down to it. So this is the debrief for the Everwild Music Festival. I've never done this festival before, so this was a new one for me. I heard about it from another artist friend that also does this festival, so I figured let me give it a shot because it was pretty affordable. I think the vending fee was about $900 for a 3-day festival, which is a lot of money, but that's not terrible for a music festival, especially because I can easily make $900 in a day and have 2 days to make profit. Whenever I'm doing festivals, I like to see if it's within a drivable distance and if I have a place to stay or a friend that I can crash with. So my best friend lives in Columbus, which is a 3.5-hour drive from Pittsburgh, but this festival is about 2.5 to 3 hours away, and it's only a 40-minute drive from her house. So it made a lot of sense. I was happy to stay with her for a few days, and the price looked good, so I was like, why not? Let's give it a try. It is mostly a reggae festival, which I really enjoy reggae festivals. I listen to reggae, but I'm not like a huge reggae person, but you know, I enjoy it. But they're my favorite festivals to vend. They're just a lot of fun and nobody cares. It is the most chilled out, relaxed crowd. Everyone's just doing their thing. So it's really a good time. So I decided to give it a go. I never know how much to bring for festivals, so I always just plan a little bit too much, but I'd rather have excess and have too much than not have enough. And you just really never know how a festival is gonna go. So I tried to be prepared for it. I brought some extra stuff. I brought my tote bags. My car was so packed. It was very heavy. I could feel it when I was driving. But yeah, so let's get into it a little bit more with the nitty-gritty details because it was a wild time. So the first part where things started to go wrong, and that's a bad way to start this off because you know you're in for a wild ride, which you are. It took me an hour just to get outside of Pittsburgh. The traffic downtown was so bad. I was sitting on the Fort Pitt Bridge for like 30 minutes. It was insanity. Though I will say there are worse places to be stuck in traffic because the views were amazing. But that kind of stuck because then I was getting to Columbus a lot later and I wanted to hang out with my friends and have, you know, the first night we'll go out for dinner and catch up and watch our favorite show. So I was definitely pushed back way behind schedule because of that, which was annoying, but whatever. And halfway there, I stopped at Sheetz, and when I got back in the car, my GPS had the road, or had the ETA 30 minutes later. I was like, what? There's no way that my 10-minute tea break and gas break added 30 minutes onto my trip, but it turns out there was an accident, so I hope everyone was okay. But, so the route had yet another 30 minutes, so this drive went from being a 3.5 to, 3 hours and 40-minute drive to almost a 5-hour drive, which was not fun. And I ended up having to take a lot of back roads through the backcountry of Ohio, which surprisingly was beautiful back there, but not for me. So I finally made it to Columbus. Snoogie. Hey, I'm so happy to see you. Oh my goodness. Also, Marissa's dog, she's a golden doodle and her name is Vienna. I've known her for as long as Marissa's had her. Our last year of grad school, we drove to Ohio. Marissa drove and then me and my roommate went with her, and it was also my roommate's birthday, so it was a super wholesome day. And we got Vienna when she was just a little puppy and kind of raised her as a group of friends. So I've known her since she was a little puppy and I love that dog dearly. And whenever Marissa comes to visit or I go to visit Marissa, Vienna is just so happy to see me again, and it always just fills my heart with joy because she's the cutest dog ever and has such a personality. We both got our usual order from El Vaquero and it was so good. We both chowed down. We did our fair amount of catching up, but that's when things started to go wrong. And I feel like I've just said that things are about to go wrong twice, but this is where things really go wrong. So I texted the festival contact, the vendor contact, before I left to double check if I should bring my tent, because most festivals provide tents for vendors, and they're like the really heavy duty event tents that are staked down into the ground. But luckily I brought one because I wasn't sure and I had a feeling, so I brought my tent and I texted her at like 5 p.m. and I said, hey, should I bring a tent? Should I leave it? She didn't answer, so I went with bringing it because I would never want to be caught in a situation without a tent, and I'm glad that I did because they did not provide tents, which isn't even the issue here, because she responded and said, we don't provide tents, but unfortunately everyone's loaded in already. You missed vendor load in. You can't come into the festival anymore. And I was like, what? I've never, like, I didn't even know what I was reading. I was in such shock. And apparently the load-in, all the info email that they had sent like a month out said load-in day is July 29th. And I knew that this festival was, you know, the very last few days of July into August. So at that time I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Usually for festivals, I just load in and that's that. You know, I'm a pretty fast load in, like I can set up in an hour with 2 people. So I guess the load in was Tuesday, and the first day of the festival was a Thursday. And I know I'm not the only person that got messed up by that, because a bunch of other vendors were also really thrown off by it. But this was a camping festival, which I didn't realize. So when they said everyone's loaded in, everyone's set up, they mean that like the people are there are tents out, people are camped in, and I'm late as a vendor and they don't want me driving on. So I again ask her, hey, there's seriously no way that I can come, like, you know, I'm sorry I got goofed up with the email, because I thought it was just like set up day of. I don't know, that's how it always goes. But when you've done as many festivals as I've done, and I've done about 10 really big festivals, the bigger they get, the more bizarre sometimes the rules get, and like each festival has its rules and its weird thing that they want you to do, and you just have to do it. And I guess theirs was setting up 2 days beforehand. So again, she responds like, unfortunately, there is absolutely nothing I can do. You can't come on the grounds, you know, sorry. And I'm not mad at her, like she's just doing her job and going with, you know, the rules of the festival. I was like, please, 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 just get me a spot to park. I don't even have to drive on. I will cart my stuff in. I'll be set up within an hour. She's like, okay, I can ask my higher ups, but they're not too flexible, so I can't guarantee anything. And I was like, amazing, please ask for me. And at this point, it's like 11:45 at night. I just drove 5 hours. I'm kind of having a bad day. I'm stressed. I'm like, what do? I just spent $900 to be at this festival, and they're telling me there's no way I can vend. And at that point, I was just like, one, I'll just have a 2-day vacation and hang out with my friend in Columbus and have a girls' day. 2, just go to the festival I already paid, so I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just go and have fun. 3, there was a art market here in Pittsburgh on that Saturday that I got into, but I wasn't doing because I was gonna be in Columbus or at Everwild. So I was like, maybe I'll just, you know, go to the festival for 2 days and then go back to Pittsburgh for that art market. Well, all in all, everything ended up being okay, and they were like, yeah, you can drive on and unload your stuff. So I was like, what was all this headache for? It was like 2 hours of insane stress, being like, what am I gonna do? And my friend looked like she was going to die. She looked so stressed and was like, Leah, you spent $900. And I was like, oh, it's whatever. And I think I was at a point where I was like, this isn't gonna financially ruin me. It's already been paid for months. You know, if I'm out $900, that really sucks, but it's not gonna ruin my business. So it's kind of at that point, and I think that's where you need to be when you're doing large events like this, because anything can go wrong. So we can't figure out where to get this inspected, so we just straight up pulled up to the fire department, and now we're just gonna walk in with my fire extinguisher and see if we can get it inspected. So fingers crossed. Security? I wasn't sure if they would do that.
Well, he is holding fire extinguishers.
I mean, yeah, he's holding fire extinguishers. Another hard rule for this festival was to have an up-to-date inspected by the fire marshal fire extinguisher, so we had to take care of that. Shout out to Corson Fire and Security for tagging this. Where is it? Oh, you look at her. She got that tag. She got the stamp. Alright, I'm put this away before I ruin it. Oh my god, yeah. When it was finally time to leave for the festival, Vienna looked so sad. The car is packed. I can still see it in my back window. Kind of. We're good. And we're getting out of here. Woo! So we get there, I meet the vendor coordinator, and she guides us to our spot with a golf cart.
Oh wow, that was really awesome.
Yeah. We drive on really slowly, and she said you can park, or you can set up here, or you can set up here. And there was a big fire ring with boulders that there was no fire pit in, but had been at some point. And one was like just past it, and then one was right before it. And the one just past it was in a good spot, and there was a lot of foot traffic. And there was like a hill right there, but we were able to get a nice level little spot. And I said, we'll set up right there. You know, there's good foot traffic. We can see the stage. It was a nice spot. Here's the fire pit I was talking about. Our spot is just beyond it. And the spot we almost took was right about here. And there you can see the vendor village and all the people who are parked in. We started unloading immediately. We were like a NASCAR pit crew. We unloaded my car so fast, and there was stuff everywhere. I think we were just so frazzled from the fire extinguisher debacle and the pulling my car onto the festival debacle. So we just got everything out and started trying to set up so we could go park. Thanks for letting me come to the festival. Bye. Also, I could not stop finding 4-leaf clovers. I was feeling so lucky. I was like, this is gonna be the best weekend ever, and I felt like they were a good omen for the weekend, but maybe not. The only thing is, since we set up late, we were not able to set up with the vendor village because she, I guess, just let some people expand their spots and take up the space that I would have been in. So there was no option for me to set up in the vendor village, which was fine. Like, I like to meet the other vendors and it's nice to be around everyone, but you know, I could set up, and I was just so happy to get a spot and be there. But the real kicker was we did not get electricity in our new spot, which was killer, because then it's like, oh, you can't use your phone, oh, we can't plug lights in. So it's the electricity at big events is just such a savior. It's really good to have. So that was a huge bummer, but again, whatever, we made do. And we set up and a little rainstorm came through, but we had our walls up, everything was good. We're back here just getting ready. I'm doing my makeup. Marissa's doing her hair.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing either. So we're just trying to get ready, and it's still like drizzling a little bit, so we're just kind of holding down the fort and just trying to stay dry before the festivities begin. Until my pegboard flew over and all of my stickers fell out of it.
Oh my gosh, wait. Did it break?
It did in fact break. I think the most fun part of the day was when my pegboard fell over a second time. Well, it fell over a second time, so, and it broke even more, but we're just rolling with it. And that was fully my fault because I forgot to secure it to the tent. Like, I usually secure it to the tent leg with a zip tie or a cable. I forgot to do that, and it fell over, and all the stickers came off again. And I'm so mad because I found a way to put all my stickers, and they looked so good and they fit perfectly, and I'll never ever be able to recreate that. So I spent yet another hour like picking grass out of my stickers and putting them back on the hooks and putting them back onto the pegboard, and I was ready to just burn my stickers. I was like, we're done, I don't need these. Like, I was almost at a point where I was like, maybe I just shouldn't have come, and like maybe I should have just said okay when they said no, you can't come, and went home. But you know me, we'll take every inconvenience and every bad thing and we'll just figure it out, take a couple deep breaths, problem solve, and start over. I had to get it on camera before everything fell over again. Toga party! I will say one of the coolest things that happened was this woman and her mom came to buy some stickers from me, and she honestly looked familiar to me, And she looks at me and she goes, I think I bought some of your stickers 2 years ago at Reggae Rise Up, Florida. And I was like, yes. So that was cool because I actually did recognize her. I knew she looked familiar, but she had bought from me. And I remember talking to her at Reggae Rise Up, Florida, because she was a physical therapist and I'm an occupational therapist. So you never forget when you meet someone, you know, another rehab fellow. But it was such a cool feeling to, you know, have a customer buy from me here at this event in Ohio who had bought from me 2 years ago at a festival in Florida. It's really surreal, and it feels great to know that, you know, people like your art, they recognize your art, and through all these events are still finding you. So that made me super happy, and she was so nice and got some more stickers, and I gave her and her mom some hugs, and it was just super wholesome. So that never will get old to me. This weather sucks.
Yes.
But this is cool. There's dinosaurs over there. It's Jurassic Park. And there's this whole line of hammocks up here, which definitely got wet in the rain before, so I can't imagine that's very fun. But it's not raining, and we're trying to survive. What's been your favorite part of setup so far?
Between the rain and the stickers.
Picking up
falling
all of the
over
stickers twice.
2 times. I can't
Twice.
decide. I can't.
It's probably definitely picking up stickers, because that's really fun.
Yeah.
But finally, oh, and wait, the best part was when we completely redid
Yeah.
the tent. This was over here, and we just literally picked up everything and moved everything over. So that was a ton of fun. All in all, the first day, there were a lot of headaches, but you know, it ended up being fine. And we ate our Chipotle that we got, and we just caught up and had a lot of fun. Although the wind was really bad all night and we were having to hold the tent down even though we had weights, and someone lent us some steaks, which was super nice. So, you know, normally the wind's not an issue for me, but it was really being an issue just right where we were. It was just really coming down. So that was kind of stressful just because it would be fine and then out of nowhere a wind gust would come. So we keep getting wind gusts that are like 15 to 20 miles an hour. It'll be like super peaceful like this, and then the wind gusts will just come through like crazy. So we made a friend with this super nice lady who told us what her camper looked like, and she's like, if you need steaks, just let me know. So I went and I found this lady and she gave us steaks. So we got 2 steaks now for our tent, and we put them in. And I accidentally broke one of my weights while trying to hammer it in. So, but now hopefully we've got a little more security and the tent won't fly away. The theme of the day is gluten-free Chips Ahoy cookies.
They're so good.
So good. We've been plowing through them. At Chips Ahoy, sponsor me. Our gluttony truly knew no ends. We almost finished the whole container in the first day. Honestly, no regrets.
Have you ever?
So cute. Each day of the festival had a theme, and the first day was Toga Party, and there were these people on stilts, which was really cool. The way I would be falling if that was me on those stilts. But we're like, you know, tomorrow the wind will be better, you know, there's no storms forecasted, because it was storming, so, you know, whatever. And the first day of a festival is always pretty slow. People like to do their shopping as the weekend goes on. So I was like, oh, whatever, you know, if there's gonna be a windy, stormy, rainy day, let it be the first day, because it's gonna be slow regardless. But all in all, wasn't a bad night. We packed up our stuff at the end and carted it back to my car. I usually like to pack everything up at the end of the night and put it in my cart, and I zip all the tent walls up just to make sure everything is secure for the night. It was just starting to get dark here. It was overcast all day, and like I said, I didn't have electricity, so I didn't have my lights, so we figured it was a good time to pack up. Well, we put my pegboard in my car, and yeah, this happened. They all fell out again. But I said to Marissa, this is a tomorrow problem. So, and then there was like a bunch in the grass over here. Is that? there's another sticker in the grass. I'm glad I looked. Slay. Okay, better not be any more. Alright, well, we closed up and we packed up. Took only the merch and left everything else. And then there's a festival way back there. So we're gonna walk back in and enjoy the music for a little bit and then leave and go to bed early and get a shower. Now we're on our way to have some fun. Don't fall. The decorations inside the festival were honestly super cool.
This song's for whoever drove the furthest to get here, yo. We'll go for it.
My mood honestly improved so much once we got into the festival and started having a little bit of fun. Afro Man is in front of me. We also finally had the chance to talk to some of the other vendors and see some of the other stuff for sale. So day 2 comes around. We have our leftover pizza for breakfast. We take Vienna for a walk. Vienna is sad because she can't come to Pirate Theme Day. I know you were born to be a pirate. Pirate's life for you. I said before that this was a tomorrow problem and I was hating myself. I feel like all I did this trip was reorganize my stickers. It was a good day, a good start. We were feeling ready, our booth set up, like beautiful weather, you know, what could go wrong? More things could go wrong, and they did. It's windy, it's still windy. The wind doesn't stop. So things are not good this morning. We're trying to set up, but we can't because it is just so windy that my sticker display there fell over. We can't keep anything on the table. Cart and pegboard are still here. It's like not even safe to fully lift my tent up. The wind gusts are up to 20 miles an hour today. So we don't really know what to do. We're just kind of right here by ourselves in the middle of this big hill. And there's not really, like, there's the vendor village over there. It's not really windy over there. So we have like no neighbors to help break the wind. So we're just trying to figure it out and problem solve. I asked the organizer to help me find a new spot to try to move. So it's going great. Live, laugh, love. And a huge gust of wind comes and blows down my magnet display and blows a bunch of stuff over, and it almost hits people that are shopping in my booth. And at that point, like, I can't have that. That's not safe for them. That's not safe for me. It's not a productive setup. You know, I have insurance for in case things go wrong, but I don't want anyone to get hurt in my booth. I don't want to get hurt in my booth, and I don't want my stuff to get damaged. So Marissa and I were like, let's just stop setting up. Like, this isn't gonna work. So I felt so bad because I've been so annoying to this girl. Not annoying, but like, it's, you know, it's been a lot. And I called the vendor coordinator and I was like, hey, this isn't working. Can you come over and help me? So she's like, yeah, no problem. Honestly, she was super nice. I loved her, super sweet. And she was another Leo too. Her birthday was that Sunday. So I was like, I like you. But she came over and was like, oh yeah, this is, you know, really hard. And her and her boyfriend were trying to help us. And she's like, you know what? I have an idea. So she takes me in the golf cart and carts me across to the other side of the festival. I felt like such a VIP in the golf cart. And she's like, you know, there's this gravelly hill and there's a line of clothing vendors. So she's like, you can maybe set up right around here or in this gravelly spot. And then all of a sudden I see her like, and she looks, and between two vendors is a huge empty space. And she's like, I don't know why I never thought about this yesterday when we were setting you up. So she takes me over to this beautiful, flat, open spot between two booths, and she's like, do you guys care if we move her over? And they're all like, no, come on in, welcome. So got a new spot, really nice spot, and I'm kind of like, I wish I just was there the whole time, but whatever, no big deal. pack up all my stuff. All right, so we are getting moved because this spot is not working, and they took me to a spot across the festival, like over there. It's really not that bad. So we are packing everything up for like the 18th time and going to our new spot. And we're gonna hopefully set up again. Woo, yay! Peace, live, laugh, love, joy, happiness. Oh yeah, deconstructed booth. Love it. There was this super cute older couple that just set up like a little spot there all day, and they were so excited when we moved. They took our spot immediately. She's like, call for, you know, the golf cart and we'll cart all your stuff. She's like, don't take it by foot. But I have so much stuff that it would have taken 4 to 5 golf cart trips, and honestly most of it's pretty lightweight, so I didn't listen and packed stuff in my cart and I just walked it over. Goodbye, spot. Nope. And everyone's gonna walk into me. Was a lot of work? Yes. Was I sweaty? Yes. Did I have a good workout out of it? Yes. So, you know, whatever. It saved me some time, and that golf cart is tiny. Like, it would have been a nightmare. So we get her to help bring the tent over, and we cart everything over. And Marissa is an angel. Love her. She's the most supportive and best friend. She was packing stuff up. She packed the cart. When we get to the new spot, she's unloading everything, like without question, knows what to do, gets right to work. Everyone, get yourself a Marissa. You gotta have a friend like her. Best person, hands down. So Marissa and I finally get set up for what feels like the second or third time. Here's my booth in all its glory, finally set up. My pegboard is not blowing away. It's secured. Stickers are not falling out of that. There's Miss Marissa. My art, my keychains, my magnets, everything's good. And of course that no smoking sign that they also made us bring. And I was telling the neighbors, you know, my new vending neighbors, about what was going on. And the one guys were like, it's your first time setting up at a festival and then having to tear down and then having to set up again. So I feel like I earned a vendor Girl Scout badge. I'm gonna like put it on there. So yeah, wild day, wild time. I really, like, when all was said and done, I was not set up to sell until 3-4 p.m. just with getting there, setting up, tearing down, setting up again, and finally getting rolling. But as soon as I was set up, you know, people started shopping and my sales finally started to increase and get better. And for the first time in the festival, I was enjoying myself and feeling okay about my setup and my booth and everything like that. So much better. Took a while to get there, but finally hit some smooth sailing. Marissa got a new bandana to match her pirate fit. Arr. Do a spin. No smoke. The guys running the booth next to us were really cool. They kind of had a head shop type of booth, and this whole row was basically full of clothing vendors. A lot of really cool clothing styles and patterns and colors. It was honestly really hard not to go shopping and spend a lot of money here. I kept walking by this really cute long sleeve pashmina shirt thing, and it was so cute, but I could not spend any more money on this trip. So this is how I'm remembering it. I'm also high-key obsessed with these giant dinosaurs. They were massive. I felt like I was in a Jurassic Park remake. They were all over the festival grounds, and the owner of the festival grounds was like, come closer, take more pictures. At this point, it's starting to become evening and the party's starting to get a little bigger. More people are going down to the stage. And then there was this guy who was an absolute legend, just sitting on top of his car in a lawn chair, getting the best view. Loved him. I went over to these people and I was like, where are the kittens? And they gave me this. Love it. Thank you. The other booth next to us was ran by these two brothers, I think from Michigan, and they were super nice. The one brother made these pendants, and the other brother was an artist. Their booth was so cozy. It was honestly really fun to look around. I could have spent hours in there just looking at all of these pendants. I really wanted to buy one. And then here's the art. Really cool artwork, really talented painter. And there's this fun blank canvas over here. There's nothing as exciting as a blank canvas. And then, oh, who's that? Hello, it's me. And yeah, the rest of the pendants, a lot of fun, really good time talking to these guys. This whole booth honestly felt like a little shop. The guy in the striped shirt here, his name was Mike, and he was an absolute legend. Like, he came over and talked to us for about an hour. This dude was full of lore, like festival lore, had all sorts of wild stories to tell us. He was telling us about his ancient Roman coin collection. Like, I could have talked to him all night. I really loved the feel of the festival at night. There were so many lights and tapestries and cool tents, and it just felt so cozy. And they had these cool little towers with lights on so that people could find the walkways. It was really neat. So at festivals, usually once the main act or second before the main act goes on, people are done shopping. Like, that's when the party's starting. They want to be listening to the music. You're really not going to sell much late at night. And I've learned that from doing a ton of shows. You know, once it starts getting to the headliners, you're not really selling anything. So after all that happened on the second day, you know, packing, unpacking, we were like, you know what, let's close up early and go actually enjoy the festival. So we packed all the prints, packed the pegboard in the cart, and put the tent walls up, zipped everything up, and we were good to go. So we closed up, put the tent walls up, zipped them up, took stuff to the car. We got it into my car in one piece tonight. So much smoother than last night. No fallen stickers, no cleanup for me and Maris. Whoa, that's so cool. Thank you. Beautiful. And then came back into the festival, or tried to, because that's when we realized we never got our wristbands. And then we needed to wait for them to give us wristbands, but whatever. After packing the car, we came back in, and nothing beats this festival at night. It is just so colorful. There's so much going on. It's really a treat visually. Everything looks, it's like a giant carnival. This is Damien and Stephen Marley playing, and I've seen Damien play before, and it's crazy just how similar they sound to Bob Marley. Even the food vendors are super cool. So the biggest tour bus I've ever seen comes through the festival on the first day, and Marissa and I are like, that has to be a musician, but it turns out it's a family that bought country singer George Jones's old tour bus and converted it into a camper for festivals. So we make it back into the festival, we listen to some music, we make our rounds. Now it's time for the best part, the artist village. I knew there was an artist village, but I hadn't had the chance to go back, and that's where my friend Caitlin Page, or the Inner Observer, which is her handle, that's where she was at. So I was like, let's go see what's up there. It's kind of separated from the festival, it's its own corner of the woods, and that's where the late night music is. So the headliner ends around midnight, but there's like a midnight to 2 a.m. act, and they go back in the artist village, and that's where the late night music is. And that's a cool idea, especially since it's a camping festival, and there were kids there, so you know, people who want to listen to the music and go to bed, whatever, can do that. And then people who are not done partying and want to have more fun can go back to the artist village. And when we got to the artist village, it was so cool. There were tents with like art galleries in them and different artists, and there were black lights everywhere. There were art displays. It was honestly so cool. I didn't even expect, I don't know what I expected, but it was not that. It was sick. Here we are making the trek over to the artist village. Like, you could see it through the trees, but had to walk and almost sprained an ankle or two on the way. Use a flashlight. I was in love with this jellyfish exhibit with all the cool lights. And they had all of these strings around that were lit with black lights to create walkways. It all just looked so cool. The videos don't do it justice. So as people are starting to file into the artist village, Marissa and I find this giant tent that was set up like an art gallery, and the art inside was so cool. I honestly could have spent hours looking at all the art in here. There was just so much art packed into this tiny space, and they had these large black lights that would change colors, and as they would change, it would bring out the different colors in the artworks and make everything look different. Honestly, such cool art, so many artists here. Really, really awesome experience. And we ran into the man, the myth, the legend, Mike again. I was a really big fan of this piece in particular because from a distance you're like, oh, that looks cool. But as you get up closer, you see all the detail that went into it, and it was just really awesome. So many of these pieces had such great detail and color and design elements. It was really a visual treat. These paintings on the triangular canvases were so good. That artist is so skilled. These colorful landscape paintings were super fun too. They were really out of this world.
Art like this.
I was especially a fan of these really colorful abstract paintings. Honestly, if I could have bought any, I would have bought at least 3. And all the art styles were so distinct, which was really nice because it wasn't just tie-dye festival art. And outside they had this sitting area with this really cool fiber art installation. I can't even capture how cool it looked. It honestly felt like I was touring a whimsical, magical village in the woods. Like, this is where fairies and elves live.
It's string art.
And there was this tent with these really cool blacklight, glow-in-the-dark, abstract paintings, and we found out it was painted by a 9-year-old girl, and her mom does the fiber art, and they were from Pittsburgh. I was so tempted to get one of these permanent jewelry glass bracelets. They were stunning. It's our girl. I was also a huge fan of these little glass vixens. I wanted all of them, honestly. It was just so cool that they were literally glass blowing right there in front of us and making all sorts of these really cool creations and items used for legal activities.
They're both awesome.
And now we're stopping for a visit at my friend Caitlin Page's, or the Inner Observer's, booth. She is a festival vending pro, and here's the painting that I ended up getting a print of. I'm obsessed with it. But yeah, she's got everything down pat. She's got fans, shirts, prints, mugs. There's her and her significant other, Seth. She's got these really cool stickers. I have quite a few of these. We've done a lot of trades. Her stuff is just so good. Her items are so cool. At this point, we decided to call it a night and head home, so we were walking up this cute little path, and there's the festival down below. It's just a sea of lights and fun. But yeah, we were pretty tired, so we called it a night, and we didn't want to be out way too late. So, time to go home. She's so sad. Oh.
Sorry.
You can be the festival pup.
Yeah.
Venus, the reggae queen. So, third day rolls around. No stickers fell out of my pegboard. Not one has fallen out.
Oh, yes. I'm doing good. Doing great today.
They're all in there. We got our Chipotle for the day. And of course, stocked up on gluten-free Chips Ahoy cookies because that was the most pressing matter at hand. We were recording this as we were driving in on the last day, and I don't even think I can show you how many people were camped at this festival and how much was going on. It was massive. Day 3, final setup. We're just getting everything unpacked and ready for the day. Like I said in previous videos, I like to pack everything up every night, and then the next day we have to set everything out. It really doesn't take that long. It's pretty straightforward, but we do have to come and make the tent look nice because right now it's a disaster. So, and of course, more stickers fell out. I feel like it's not a day at this festival if stickers don't fall out. And my fiance Jesse bought a day pass.
Yes.
so he was coming, and that's surprisingly, this festival only gave me 1 employee. Usually they'll give you like 2 to 4 vendor bracelets, but this one only let people have 1 employee. So Jesse actually had to buy a day pass. An extra employee would have been $175 for 3 days, but the day pass was $100. So he was like, let me just come for the day. And that worked out really great. So he came, which was really fun. And you know, him and Marissa are friends. They've known each other for as long as I've been with Jesse. So it was fun having him, and it was nice to just have an extra set of hands on deck, because then Marissa and I were like, we're gonna go walk around, see ya, and we left the booth with Jesse. So we got to do some more exploring and enjoying the music together.
We have him here. We made one Halloween song ever.
One Halloween song.
Yeah, it feels Halloween-ish out.
Yes! Oh. All right.
When we got back, Marissa took a nap completely covered in a tapestry as a blanket, and she looked like this mummy. We loved it. Loved this version of Marissa. Huge fan of this guy in the mini classic car. He was a legend. One thing I definitely need to improve on is my lighting situation, especially for at night. But I just brought these camping lights and these color changing string lights, and it honestly looked really cute. The 3 of us decided to close up and go listen to some music and have a little fun. Having a real fangirl moment here. This is Charlie Tuna, who's a rapper from the 90s, and I really love his work and his music, and they brought him on as a surprise performer, so that totally made my night. Alright, we've had enough fun. Now let's get back into the finances of this festival and see how everything went. Sales for the 3rd day ended up being slow as well. So I ended up barely making back my vending fee, if I even made it back at all. I think it was right around the 900 mark, but the event was a wash, you know, basically got to just go for free and enjoy the festival with a lot of work. But, you know, you don't know how a festival is gonna go beforehand, and I always like to try things at least once. At the same time, this festival ended up being so much fun that I was like, I would go back next year. You know, would I change some things? Yes. Do I know what to expect? Also yes. You know, I would try to bring some different items, more big ticket items. People just don't want to carry art prints at festivals. I've figured that out. So, you know, didn't make a ton of money on this. Maybe ended up losing a little bit of money, but I'm not terribly upset about it. It's better than if I never got to vend at all and was just out $900. You gotta take your risks, you know, but it was a good time. I got to spend time with my best friend and my fiance, and they let us drive our car on the last night, which was mind-blowing because they wouldn't let me drive it on the first day, but whatever. Or they didn't want me to drive it on the first day. But drove it up, and the three of us packed my tent, everything super fast, loaded my car in.
Okay, Tupperware.
Over here.
It's Leah getting out of work again.
No, I'm just trying to take little snippets. I promise I was not trying to get out of doing work. And then went to go to the artist village, which was a ton of fun. Oh, you're fine. Just three of us. And I got to buy some art from my friend, the Inner Observer, and it was a piece that I've been wanting for months, so I'm so excited. And got to enjoy more psychedelic art under the blacklight. I was still so enamored with all of these glass pieces. Glass blowing is something that I just can't wrap my head around. Like, I don't understand how people make such intricate pieces of work.
It's adorable. Blown flower. Like, this is some serious talent.
And then we ended up taking my fiance's car back to Columbus for the night. We didn't get home until after 1. It was like 1:30 in the morning here, and Vienna is so excited about coming to snuggle with me and Jessie. She loves Jessie. And then by the time we showered and took Vienna out and decompressed, we didn't go to bed until 2, which was fine. We went to bed, didn't set an alarm, and then woke up around 10 the next day. And of course, we got to enjoy some early morning snuggles with the girl herself. It's also very important to report that Vienna was Pet of the Month in their apartment complex. We got to meet up with one of Jesse's friends from undergrad. Him and his fiance came and met us up for breakfast. I got to introduce Marissa to them, and we had a lovely little brunch and got to see some friends while we were there. And we finished our trip up with a little Marshall's, little retail therapy. Truthfully, my mission is just to sniff all of the candles. It's straight up just fall in a jar. And began our drive home. Of course, our first stop was going back to the festival grounds to pick up my car, which I left the night before. And it's honestly so crazy to see how empty the whole thing looked. They were doing trash cleanup and just, you know, getting all the land back together at the very end. But it's crazy to think about how many people were literally all just packed into this field, and now it's just the stragglers. This is the row that I was at where all of those clothing vendors were. Now it's just empty. There's the stage still. I think the stage stays there. I think this is a year-round festival grounds, and that's where my old spot was, under those pine trees. And one final sweep of the spot to make sure we didn't miss anything. I do not envy my neighbors. They were still packing up. Rough. Could not be me. And that's a wrap. it's time to leave. Goodbye, Fairgrounds. It was a fun weekend. All in all, there were a ton of ups and downs to this festival. It was really great though. It was such a cool venue and the vibes were really good. You know, I know it was off to a rough start, but there were a lot of things that were out of my control, and when you do festivals of this size, you just have to be ready for anything and you have to just roll with what comes your way. Otherwise, you're never gonna sell anything, you're never gonna set up. So, you know, I made some new friends, I got to see some old friends, and got to get my name out there some more. So I had a great time, I really enjoyed it, and I wasn't mad about anything that happened in the experience. I think I will do it again next year, but just gonna try to make some changes and think about what's gonna work better. So, you know, you never know. But all in all, great time, glad I did it, and if I do one festival a summer, it's worth it. So yeah, and the music was great. I loved watching all the acts and listening to all the music, so great time and looking forward to next time. Thank you again for coming and listening to my debrief. This was a fun time, and if you like my content and want to support my small business, please consider subscribing and liking this video because it helps out tremendously. All right, have fun, be weird, and I'll see you next time. Take care.